This is one of the most common misunderstandings we see about the Roth account. There's all these different things people hear about the 5-year rule and, I need to have a certain income to contribute. When you're still working, when you have earned income, you can contribute up to $7,000 a year. You get an extra $1,000 after you turn 50. But as far as a conversion goes, like Stuart mentioned, taking that pre-tax money, paying those taxes and getting it over, there's no limit. We always say the limit is as much as you can stomach paying taxes on, right?
Yeah.
So there's no limit. And it's like he said, it's a beautiful thing. It's one of the last real tax, quote unquote, loopholes we have left where you can get that tax-free growth. And it doesn't just affect you when you get that money to the Roth, it also affects the next generations, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you get that money into a Roth and you're able to grow it significantly before you try to pass it on to the next generation, then you have passed on tax-free money, and that is a beautiful thing. Now, if you leave it in an IRA, we know the Secure Act changed the rules on that. As far as if you leave the money in an IRA and you leave it to a non-spousal beneficiary, right? So anyone other than your spouse, and they inherit that money, then there is the new 10-year rule that we have to mention. And basically the way that works is the person who inherits that money now has to move that money to a designated what we call beneficiary IRA or inherited IRA. And that money has to be out of that account within 10 years of the date of that person's death and all the taxes paid on it. Now, that's, most people say, well, inherited money, I get it over 10 years, what's the problem? Well, it can be an issue when most the time the scenario that this happens in is a scenario where a parent is leaving this to a child.
Right.
And so if a parent is leaving their IRA to their children and they pass away at around their normal life expectancy in their 80s, that child is typically what? In their 50s, right? You're typically in your highest earning years.
Absolutely.
In your 50s.
Yeah.
I know I am. And so, I would say that if you're in your highest earning years and you're in the highest tax bracket you've ever been in, making good money, and you inherit money in an IRA, and now you have to take money out of that every year on top of the good money you're already making and pay a higher tax rate on it when you take it out, that's not ideal tax planning, right?
No, it's not. And it's still benefit, like Stuart mentioned. I mean, it's still money you're inheriting, which is great. This is the kind of planning that we're doing every day for clients. We try to look 10, 15, 20 years down the road, and it's, like we mentioned, more important now than ever to be looking at this kind of stuff because taxes are going up. It's a problem on most people's mind, and a lot of people are coming over from firms that are just doing investment advice. They're just taking the assets, trying to grow them, which is awesome, and they're making great returns. But we're really looking at the macro tax picture and saying, how can we optimize this for the next generation, for the grandkids, whatever it is? And we're really trying to do that. And I think that's probably the area we're bringing the most value right now.
Absolutely. And one other thing I'll put on people's radar is if you are a beneficiary of the extra $12,000 standard deduction for the One Big Beautiful Bill Act incorporated for seniors, again, age 65 and older, under the income thresholds of $75,000 for an individual and $150,000 for couples, which is probably most of America, then what a better time to be considering over the next 3 years while you're getting that extra standard deduction to be converting IRA money to Roth money and using that standard deduction to help cover offset the taxes that you would be due on that money. If you haven't considered Roth conversions as part of your retirement plan, then you are missing out.
No doubt.
One of the things that we hear constantly when people come into our office is, hey, I've been working with a financial advisor for 30 years. They have given me extremely good investment advice, and they have made me a lot of money, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I did that for many first 10 years of my career. But they're in a different place now. And when you get to retirement, it's not just about good investment advice.
No.
You have to understand that what we do as a retirement planning firm is way more than give you just investment advice. We are doing income planning. We're doing long-term tax planning, right? We are looking at the big tax picture. We are also looking at how healthcare needs fit into that picture. Healthcare planning is retirement planning, and it has to be a part of the big picture. So we are also, in our office, we're doing a ton of estate planning now.
Yeah.
We are building trust for clients that are helping them avoid probate, helping their heirs avoid probate on the assets that they want to make sure they pass cleanly to the next generation. We are doing, we can talk you through if a will is suffice or if you need a trust, if you want a living revocable trust, which is an unbelievable instrument to have, and it can help tremendously with doing estate planning for you. And we can determine, looking at the big picture, when you get to retirement, it's all about all these moving parts and how they work together. You have to understand, if you're going to do Roth conversions, there's something that you have to consider called IRMAA, which is, most people don't realize that your Medicare Part B premiums are income based, right? Not just your Part B, but your Part D premiums. So if you do a major Roth conversion right before you get to Medicare, specifically 2 years before you get to Medicare at 63, then you have to understand that Roth conversion is considered income in the year that you do it. And so when Medicare looks back 2 years at your tax returns, which is how they do it, every year they look 2 years back at your tax returns to determine whether you're going to have to pay a higher Part B premium than you would have because you made a lot of money.
Right. Then
you're going to cause yourself to have to pay a much higher Part B Medicare premium than you might have otherwise had to pay. And listen, that catches people off guard. You have to, again, this is part of what retirement planning does for you. This is part of what we can do for you, is we can keep you from making these type of mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? We can keep you from, really, we can look at the big picture, how all the puzzle pieces fit together, and we can help you to make sure that you're being as tax efficient as possible. We can model through different scenarios, like I say, inflation, a major correction in the market, an expensive healthcare event, all of those things. Hey, we're coming to the end of this segment, and if you want more information or you'd like to sit with us, please visit ClearPathRetirement.com. Are you a business owner with an email list you are not sure is actually growing your business? Most business owners are just guessing, sending emails, hoping for a click. At Kathy Farah Consulting, we take guesswork out of your email marketing. We help you identify what's working and fix what's broken, turning your list into a reliable engine for better leads and consistent sales. Stop wondering, start growing. Visit KathyFarah.com to book your free email clarity call today. Let's make your email marketing work smarter.
Thanks for tuning in to ClearPath Retirement Radio with Stuart Smith and Mitch Davies.